Hello, and welcome to episode 65 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Welcome, one and all, to one of, I think, 3 holiday episodes that we're going to be doing this year.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I hope everybody's gearing up for their holiday. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa to the people celebrating Kwanzaa. And Merry Christmas to those celebrating Christmas.
Yes.
Have a good Yule to those celebrating Yuletide, because that has started.
Certainly has.
What have we been up to? Let's talk about what we've been up to.
Oh, gosh. It's been a busy weekend.
Yeah, do you want to talk about this class that you've been taking?
Sure. So now that I have a little more free time in my life during my work week, I've been making sure to pursue interests that I haven't been able to pursue in the past. And so one of the things that I've always wanted to do as a performer is to learn a bit more about stage combat. I think this makes perfect sense. You know, being a dancer, that like kind of physicality is kind of innate. And so to use it in a different way is really, really interesting. And so this semester I've been taking stage combat with a longtime friend and colleague of mine. And we had our SPT, which is our skills proficiency test, on Saturday. And that's where a fight master from the Society of American Fight Directors comes in.
Fight master.
He is a fight master. Yes. Yep. I don't know why you went Western with that.
I don't know either.
But okay. Yeah. All right. But so yes, a fight master came in and watched all of us who had been training in various forms of stage combat over the past few months. And he tested us on our skills and then decided if we passed.
And
I passed.
yeah.
So I
did.
am now a certified actor combatant in unarmed stage combat.
Yeah, should I be nervous
No.
that my wife is taking classes to learn how to be combative?
Well, no, because it's how
I know,
to
it's
look
fake.
like
It's
you're being
acting.
combative without actually being
It's
combative.
acting.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
and I
correct.
went to watch Sam and some of the other people that were testing.
And there were a lot of us.
Yeah, it was really entertaining.
Yeah.
And Sam's scene, it was actually, they took a scene from Friends, which was funny. The scene where Rachel and her sister are arguing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was really something.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And my partner was fantastic. Not even a theater major. She was a communications major, but she was just awesome to work with. And I really enjoyed it.
And so if she's not a theater major, why is she taking stage combat?
Because she wants to.
Just like you.
Yeah.
Just because it interests her?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that's great. And actually, we had a couple of students that were communications majors that were in the class.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So now Sam is certified in unarmed stage combat.
Yes. And even more exciting is that next semester, I should say, I get to move into the next series.
Yeah, where you get to use some weapons, right?
Yes, I get to start picking up weapons. So yeah, I get to play with swords.
Swords.
Next semester. Yeah, it's Renaissance weapons, so probably rapier and dagger.
That's fun.
Yeah. So lightweight swords, and then, next fall I'll do unarmed again, and then I will also do medieval weapons, which is quarterstaff and broadsword.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so it's just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have to say though, it was an exceptionally long day on Saturday. So yesterday I really felt like I'd been hit by a bus.
Yeah, Sam was dragging a little bit, and we carried on the theater theme.
Oh, yes, we did.
And,
it's been a theatrical weekend.
Yeah, drove down to Pittsburgh to see our niece Lucy in her school production of Newsies, which was
awesome.
Fantastic.
It was so good.
These are middle-aged school
Middle-aged?
kids. Middle-aged.
They're not middle-aged. We are middle-aged. They are not.
Middle school-aged kids, right? And this production was better than anything I have ever seen at a school production.
Yeah, it's probably the strongest middle school production I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was.
The singing was great. The dancing was spectacular.
Yep.
They all looked like they were having a blast up there.
Yep. They did a beautiful
Lucy was
job.
really fun to watch as
Yes,
usual.
Always.
Yes.
Yep. She was great. She played the role of Hannah in Newsies, which was more of an acting role than a singing, dancing role.
Yeah. I mean, she did do some singing and
She
dancing.
did do some singing and
with
dancing.
the ensemble when she wasn't in that part.
Right. Yes. She was, one of the backup Newsies when she was not in her named role. But it was just great to see her. And the best thing about it really is, I mean, I do think that our lovely niece has some talent, which is great. But the best thing is that she loves it.
Yeah, she has a blast
And
with
you
it.
can see it.
Yeah.
Like when she's on stage, you can see how much she loves it.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing. And for me, having been the most recent performer in the family, seeing that there's, another one.
Yeah.
Different medium, but there's another one.
Yeah. Now, your brother also
great.
did some theater when he was in school.
He did.
Both musical and dramatic.
Yes, he did. He was in a couple of musicals. He was in Damn Yankees, I definitely remember, and The Pajama Game he was in. He actually did Steam Heat, which was hysterical because Owen does not dance, but he did it, man.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned last night at dinner that he had been in a play, that he had been in The Father of the Bride, which was their senior class play, which I don't remember at all. And apparently my parents don't remember it either.
Nobody in the family remembers it at all, which makes me think maybe there was some kind of conflict with it. Like maybe you had something.
Well, no, but the thing is, there's no way that they would have missed Owen in a play for me.
Yeah, it's just bizarre that they don't remember. Nobody remembers it.
Right. It is weird. I mean, I'm sure I was away at school.
Right.
And so therefore did not get to see it.
Right.
But that mom and dad don't remember it is
I
a
don't
little
know.
funny.
Maybe they had been drinking or something.
It's possible.
No, I'm kidding.
It's possible. As mom would say, they were schnockered.
They were schnockered. No, I'm sure they weren't. But it is funny that nobody remembers it. And Owen's like, apparently it was a very memorable performance. Nobody even remembers going to it.
No, but we remember his other performances. Like, seriously, his performance of Steam Heat. And then I can't remember the name of the song, and my students would probably kill me, but I can't remember the name of the song. But the solo that Shoeless Joe sings in Damn Yankees, I just remember Owen doing that, and it was really pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun.
I was proud of my little brother.
Yeah. So we had a really good time. It was a good show, but Sam was dragging, let me tell you.
Oh my God.
After the show, though, we went to one of our favorite places.
Mad Mex.
We went to Mad Mex, the one in Cranberry, Pennsylvania, which was good because it got us closer to the freeway.
So it made our drive home a little shorter. Yep.
Yeah. And I got something different this time. I usually always go for the herbivore tofu tacos. This time I went for their vegan quesadilla.
The vegan chorizo quesadilla.
And they use, it's Morningstar Farms chorizo that they use.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Follow Your Heart cheese.
Yes,
it was really good. Mm-hmm. It was really good and lighter because we got an order, an appetizer order of the Pennsylvania tofu,
fried tofu,
which is a big order.
Yes,
and plus chips and salsa and guac and all that. By the time we were ordering food, I was already half full. So. And then what did you get?
I got their veggie bowl, the Mad Mex veggie bowl.
Oh, right.
Which is farro and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and peppers and onions and black beans and corn and all kinds of wonderful things. And I got that with no cheese because it comes with cheese. So you have to order it without the cheese.
Yeah, you don't really need cheese with that.
You really don't. There's so much flavor in it.
There's a ton of stuff going on
There's
in that.
no need for cheese.
And it's a huge amount of food.
Yes, it is. But I haven't finished talking about it.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you get rid of the cheese, and for your protein, you choose either their marinated organic tofu, or you do what I do, which is get the tofu that comes on the tofu tacos. So it's a fried tofu, which is really delicious, and the reason for the tofu tacos, like. We just can't get away from them because that tofu is so good. But the beautiful thing was when I ordered it, my dad, who was sitting next to me, just looked at the waiter and said, "I'll have exactly what she said." And I was like doing a little happy dance at the end of the table.
Yes, I don't know if you've been following along, but Sam's dad is going plant-based.
Is moving in that direction.
Yeah.
So we, I did hear him mention that they had gone to dinner somewhere else in the relatively recent past, and that he had gotten pasta with chicken.
Okay.
So he's not there, but
he's trying.
He's working in that direction, and
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, and go Larry. I mean, here's a man that just had open heart surgery 2.5 weeks ago.
Yep.
And here he is out at a play to see his granddaughter.
That's
and
right.
Out to dinner. He's doing really well.
He is doing really well. Yep. So we are just incredibly grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And just so super psyched. Like I never expected my dad ever to do that I would order a vegan meal and he would just go, I'll have that.
Yeah, I'll have what she's having.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like seriously. So cool.
Yeah. And there was, like I said, it's a very large portion, that particular bowl.
Yes.
So you took like half of it home and
Yeah,
had
it was
for lunch.
more than half, and I ate the rest of it for lunch today. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then so we got home last night around 9:00, I guess. It was a little before 9 when we got home. And pretty much went directly to bed because I had an early final this morning with some of my students, and that was an absolutely delightful experience. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I came home and we spent much of the late morning,
2 hours maybe,
couple hours, wrapping up some presents for the family, which was great. So that's a lot of wrapping out of the way.
Yep. Put on a Christmas movie and
Arthur Christmas.
Wrapped our
That is the
heads
wrapping
off.
movie.
Yeah.
Yep. It is the wrapping movie. So we had a great time. And then I kind of curled up on the couch and took a nap.
Yeah, you did.
Because I'm still kind of sore. I feel much better today than I did yesterday, but still a little
You
sore.
were dragging yesterday.
Oh, yesterday was just funny. Although I have to say, I really appreciated the fact that my students who came in this morning, several of whom had also tested in stage combat, also felt like they had been hit by a bus.
Right. Yeah, so that makes you feel a little better.
Yes,
that
it's
people,
not just that I'm old.
in their 20s are also struggling.
Yes. So the fact that I mean, just that they were like, oh my God, could not move yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, good. So it's not just that I'm old.
Yeah, well,
It's that's a rough day.
you guys were at the theater for 12 hours.
Yes.
And if you weren't doing some physical form of combating, you were sitting, which is not, it's not good, not conducive.
No, the
to
constant
keeping
back and forth between rest and then kind of high intensity activity
it's
is
not good for
challenging.
the muscles.
Yeah, it's challenging. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So that's what we've been up to.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, or well, today for most of you, I'm imagining, or, what will be Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
We are heading out, and I'm sure we'll address this in our podcast next week, but we'll be heading out to do our pre-Christmas grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Getting ready. So we'll hit the vegan grocery store and we'll hit Trader Joe's.
Yep.
And we have to stop a few other places. Like there's a liquor store in Blaisdell that we need to go to.
Yeah, I got to find
We've
that
gotta get
Bailey's almond.
the almond Baileys, and we got to hit Target. And I, of course, can't go very long without hitting a Michael's. So
No. If we're near a Michael's, we're going to Michael's.
Well, we didn't yesterday. I identified a Michael's
It's
on
true.
the way to Mad Max, and I went, ooh, a Michael's. And we did
It's
not
true.
stop.
It's
So,
true. We didn't. Okay. Well, moving on, we have a recipe this week,
Yes, we do.
which I just made a little while ago.
just a few minutes ago.
I am still partaking in.
I finished mine right up.
Yeah. So let's move on to this week's recipe from our Vegan Cookbook Challenge. So this week, I made something a little different out of the Unofficial Harry Potter Cookbook by Dinah Bucholz.
Woohoo!
And I made hot chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah. I felt something festive.
Yes.
And since Sam had so many leftovers, I wasn't going to make a big meal or anything.
Oh, no, there was no need to make anything.
Yeah. So this book is not a vegan book. There is now a vegan Harry Potter cookbook out there that you can get. So check that out. But this book has tons of stuff that you can veganize, especially the dessert sections.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lots of really great desserts. And the cool thing about this book is that, she connects the recipes with something in the movies or the books.
Right. Right.
So this hot chocolate, it says, after Harry's been spirited away in Mr. Weasley's Ford Anglia, sorry, to the Burrow, he enjoys the rest of the summer vacation with Ron. On the last night before the start of terms, he digs into a fabulous dinner prepared by fabulous cook, Mrs. Weasley, finishing off with desserts and hot chocolate. See Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 5.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, then she gives you a little history about hot chocolate, which is nice.
Yeah.
And this is an honest to goodness hot chocolate recipe. You use sugar, you use unsweetened cocoa powder, you use actual chocolate.
Yep.
So find yourself some vegan semi-sweet chocolate. And I used cashew milk, which is very creamy.
Yeah, very creamy.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
It's really good. I still have some of mine.
Mine is gone. And Christine very generously served it with some coconut whipped cream or almond whipped cream.
I think it was almond.
I think it was the
and it
almond.
was the very last of it too.
Yeah.
So
So a little bit of almond whipped cream on top. It was just decadent, very rich, very creamy.
Yeah.
Super tasty. Like just it was real hot chocolate.
It's good. I'm still drinking mine.
It's amazing.
And another cool thing about this recipe is it calls for a little instant decaf coffee.
And you can taste it just a tiny bit. Like you don't get a huge hit of coffee on it, but it's just, I don't know. It's like the chocolate comes out even more.
Yeah, it's kind of that mocha-y
with
thing.
that
kinda.
tiny hit of coffee.
Yeah.
It's great. It's really
And
wonderful.
I dressed mine up with a little bit of peppermint schnapps.
Of course you did. I did not have peppermint schnapps in mine. I did not know that was an option.
Oh, I could have given you schnapps. You usually say no.
I do usually say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and besides, I had a mango margarita yesterday, so I'm probably good for at least a month.
So if you have a Harry Potter fan in your family or your circle of friends, this is a great little cookbook. It's the Unofficial Harry Potter Cookbook by Dinah Bucholz.
And I am just so excited that you use this book because we've had this for a while now.
We have.
If I recall correctly, you got that for me for Christmas several years ago.
Oh, yeah, maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
longer.
been a while, and we really haven't investigated it yet.
No.
So the fact that it made it into the cookbook rotation is kind of awesome.
It is kind of awesome. And like I said, there is now a vegan unofficial Harry Potter cookbook.
Yes, there is.
Not by this woman, but by other people.
Yes.
Check that out. I think it was made available in November, so you should be able to still be able to get your hands on it.
Yep.
If you have a Harry Potter fan or if you're a Harry Potter fan yourself.
There you go.
Moving on to our main topic. Our main topic today is navigating a non-vegan world at the holidays.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about navigating a non-vegan world just in general, but it can be even more challenging around the holidays because chances are you are going to more social events than is normal in your everyday life.
Sure.
You are spending more time with family and friends, which of course is the best part of the holiday season. But at the same time, for vegans, it can be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason we're talking about this, I was inspired by an episode of The Bearded Vegans.
When are we not inspired by the Bearded Vegans?
Specifically, 2017 episode 111 of The Bearded Vegans that they titled How to Be a Good Advocate for Animals During the Holidays.
There you go.
And they talk about a lot of what we're going to talk about today, but it kind of listening to that, I often go back and listen to their episodes, and listening to that episode, I'm like, yeah, there's some good stuff to talk about in there.
Absolutely.
That I think we should touch on. So
Let's do it.
yeah. So the first question I wanted to ask was, do we even bring up veganism at a holiday event?
And really, the answer for us is not specifically no, because the vast majority of events that we go to are with our families. We
Right.
don't do a lot of external socializing. We're very much into, Christmas is about family and all of that.
Right.
So we're also not huge social butterflies. So no, we don't specifically bring up veganism. Now, granted, it's going to probably be mentioned at least half a dozen times in the space of any gathering, just because there's food involved.
Right.
And so, and when we're with Christine's family, there are 3 of us who are vegan. And when we're with my family, there are now like 2.5
Right.
of us, or 2 3/4 of us who are vegan. And so, yes, questions may arise as it relates to a meal that we're having or what's in a specific dish or anything like that. But it's really not, for us, a time to talk about necessarily the ethics and the economy
Advocacy.
and the advocacy.
We're not
of it.
advocating.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
The only way we're advocating at our family gatherings or any gathering is just by being ourselves.
By being ourselves, yes. And, having conversations as they come up, and of course not consuming animal products.
Right.
But no, we don't go into holiday gatherings of any kind, with, torches raised and we're going to convert our family members. 'Cause no,
Right.
that's not what those gatherings are for.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of advocacy, but at the same time, there's a time and place for everything.
Right.
And I feel like the holiday season, while it's a great time to perhaps give to organizations that are out there advocating for animal rights and animal liberation and food equality and all of those things on a daily basis, it's maybe not the time to advocate, in your personal circles, in your circles of family and friends.
Yeah.
There's other times you can do that.
Yeah. And that reminds me or brings me to a quote that Andy Tabar said in their episode. He said, I just thought it was so well said, that veganism is about so much more than food, but for a lot of people, it starts with food. And how Andy was talking about what we were just talking about is try to know when to advocate and when to just keep your mouth shut.
Absolutely. Like when we were at dinner the other night, well, last night, I guess it was, my brother asked if wool was okay.
Right.
Because he said he had bought for one of us a stocking stuffer that involved wool.
Right.
But then after he purchased it, he was like, oh, wait a minute. This is an animal product. Do they have an objection to wool?
Right.
And so just the fact that he asked,
Yeah.
I thought was really, really great.
Right.
So that's awesome. And of course, that stocking stuffer that contains wool can certainly go to anyone else in the family.
Somebody else,
Somebody else who can, use it and appreciate it. But it shouldn't go to either of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, that things that we take for granted as vegans when we're involved in gatherings like this, things like wool and whatnot and silk and things like that. You have to understand that people don't think the way we do a lot of times.
That's right.
They see a nice sweater or scarf or a pair of mittens or something, and the fact that there's wool in it really doesn't click anything with them.
Well, not only that, but they might not even check the fiber content.
Right.
Like the last time we were at Michael's, I saw this absolutely gorgeous yarn that I wanted to make scarves out of so badly. It was so pretty and the texture was amazing. And I'm just like, oh my God, I could make some really beautiful scarves out of this.
Right.
And I picked it up and I turned it over, 20% wool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah,
That sucks.
When we first went vegan, we gave a ton of beautiful yarn.
So
like
much
some
yarn.
hand spun yarns that we
So much yarn.
purchased that had wool in them. We gave them to our neighbor who used to live across the street, who is an avid knitter.
Not only avid, but exceptionally skilled.
Oh, she's
like
super gifted.
So
Yeah.
good.
She's
Far
like,
better than I will
"I'm gonna-
ever hope to
I'm
be.
going to whip off this pair of socks with this like really ornate pattern in it, and boom, there they are.
And there they are.
And they're beautiful. I mean, they look like store-bought socks.
Yes. Yes.
If I made socks, they would look like a tube that you put your foot into.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Which is why I stick with things that are rectangular. Scarves, wraps, shawls,
Yeah.
cowls,
Yeah.
dishcloths, I don't do anything fancy because I'm just not capable of it at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I was sad to see all of that beautiful yarn go, but at the same time, I love that it went to someone who can do really amazing
Who
things with
appreciated it,
and
yeah.
who really appreciated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So super
Yeah.
cool.
So I guess like Andy said, veganism isn't about food, but it so starts with food with so many people. So it's important to keep your mind open and be prepared to answer questions when people have them, and not answer them like, okay, we all have our rote answers to the rote questions that we get about protein and all that stuff. But engage people, in conversation. Don't just like whip off a bunch of facts.
And the fact that, when the wool question had been asked and we said, no, vegans don't actually consume wool in any way, shape, or form, and or lanolin or any other product that comes from sheep. And, the question then came up, is the issue with wool the way the animals are treated, the way the animals are raised? Mm-hmm. And of course, the answer to that is yes. Yeah. That is the issue.
It's the way that they're treated and the fact that they're just brought into this world
to produce something for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and those are great conversations to have. And I'd say if those come up around the dinner table, there's no reason to avoid them, but have them in a way that is really conversational and really open and really just accepting of different points of view.
Right.
And for me, like whenever I hear a question like that from my family, I get really grateful.
Yeah, that they're interested.
I'm like, wow, okay, they're interested. They're asking.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's important to go into it with that kind of attitude and not to get, defensive or anything.
Or to, get up on your high horse and educate.
Right.
It's not the time.
No.
There are times that you can do that. Absolutely. But I really don't feel like family gatherings over the holidays or, gatherings of friends or, the casual work Christmas party, whatever it is. I just don't feel like it's the time.
It's not, unless somebody honestly is trying to pick your brain. Right. Give them all the information you have. And Andy Tabar, who has had a ton of experience advocating veganism to people, he likes to turn it around on people, and instead of just throwing a bunch of facts out, like say where do you get your protein and all that, turn it around and ask them questions like, why do you feel that vegans don't get enough protein?
Right.
Or why do you feel that vegan food is expensive?
Right.
And then that way they can, instead of them strengthening their argument against you, so to speak, that way they can actually think about their choices. Sure. Like, oh, I think vegan food is expensive because I bought Impossible Burger and it was, however much it was, and it was so much more than
the equivalent amount of ground beef would have been. Right.
So, and then you can come back with, well, you don't have to eat those meat replacements. There are plenty of other ways to get protein, and here's what they are.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's important to go into it with a good attitude and not be defensive.
For sure. For sure. And so the next question that Christine has on this list is, do we opt out of family gatherings that include animal flesh? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, we personally do not.
No.
I don't know if other people would opt out. I mean, I suppose, maybe it's situational. If your family is combative about your veganism, maybe opt out and say, I'm just going to have friends over, friends that either are vegan or understand your veganism and don't get combative with you over it.
Right. But I mean, our families are incredibly important to us, and also they're very supportive of our veganism. And it's understood that, no, we're not going to eat whatever animal products are on the table, but that's not an insult to the chef.
Right.
It's just our choice. And it's not that we expect anyone else to make the same choice. That'd be great, but it's their choice again, personal free will and all of that.
Right.
That's a good place to start. But yeah, it's just that we are, sticking to our ethics and And everybody that we tend to be around during the holidays understands that and is supportive of that. And, so we also then support their right to make their own choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess what we can offer you are some tools. Number one, what we were just talking about, how to be prepared to answer those questions and how to answer them in a way that invites a constructive conversation and not just a debate
Right.
over veganism.
Yep. The next is offer to host a holiday meal or offer to cook. For example, the half vegan household on Christine's side of the family has now taken over hosting Christmas Eve and Christmas Day festivities for that side of the family. And so we know going in that because Trey and Savannah are doing the cooking, that it's going to be vegan. That's just how it's going to be because
Right.
Savannah is vegan. And that's great and wonderful. And everybody just accepts that and off we go. But if you're not hosting, well, then offer to bring a dish. And you don't have to announce that the dish is vegan.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Anybody
important.
who knows you is going to know that anything you put on the table is going to be animal product free.
Right.
But you don't need to announce it to the world.
Right.
Just pick something that people will like. I mean, and I know we've had a lot of success with things like lasagna, with things like spanakopita, just something that is immediately palatable to just about anybody.
Right.
And you just swap out the animal ingredients for for vegan ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And you don't have to tell anybody.
No, because a lot of times when you announce that a food is vegan,
Yeah.
some people get something clicks in their brain. They're like, oh, I'm not going to like that.
Right, because it's vegan.
Like,
Well,
these green beans are vegan. Oh, I'm not going to like those green beans. Well, they're the same
but
green
all green beans are vegan.
So yeah, definitely don't announce that your food is vegan.
Well, yeah, like I was in a meeting not too long ago and I mentioned baking cookies, but that if I was going to bake cookies, they would of course be vegan cookies. And one of the other people in the meeting said, I wonder if I would like a vegan cookie. And I'm like, oh gosh, trust me, you would.
Yeah,
You wouldn't know the difference.
You wouldn't know the difference if they're made correctly.
That's right.
Yeah.
You will have no idea except that it's coming from me.
Right.
It's the only way you would know it was vegan. So definitely offer to bring dishes or to host or to cook. And that's a great way also to introduce people to vegan food.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way that is completely non-combative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, if hosting or bringing a dish isn't an option, remember to bring your own snacks.
Woohoo snacks.
Bring a little bag. Don't make the host feel uncomfortable that
That's right.
you can't eat the food. Just bring your own. Just say, that's okay. I have, whatever. I brought these protein bars or whatever.
Yeah, I've got
I'm
a little
cool with
bag
that.
I've got a little bag of raw veggies and some hummus.
Right.
I'm good. You know.
So yeah, if that's not an option, if hosting or bringing a dish isn't an option, and there's not going to be any vegan options, then just bring stuff.
Bring some snacks for yourself.
Yeah.
Keep them in a bag and just, snack surreptitiously.
Right.
Yeah.
Just hide in the corner and eat your veggies and hummus.
Eat
No one will notice.
That's what I did at combat testing.
That's right, you did. You didn't really hide in the corner.
I didn't
but
hide in the corner,
you
no.
did bring
but I did
veggies
bring
and
veggies and hummus.
Yeah. What other tools can we offer people?
Well, the next we've actually talked about a little bit as well.
Yeah.
How do we respond to a gift that is non-vegan, or if we're given foods that contain animal products?
Right.
So we already kind of talked about this with Owen asking
Sure.
about wool. And so I think any gift should be received with thanks and appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the thought, the time, the money that went into purchasing that gift for you is valuable, no matter what the gift itself is.
Mm-hmm.
You can, of course, and I believe you should, explain that perhaps it wasn't the best choice of gift because it's not vegan.
Right.
That kind of a thing. So when Owen asked, is wool okay? And we said, well, actually, no, wool isn't okay. Here's why. This is the objection, so that you can explain this is why vegans consider this to be unethical.
Right.
And why this would not be an appropriate gift for a vegan. And then you can offer to, you can say, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this and I'm going to return it, and I'm going to get something that is a vegan alternative to this actual gift. Yeah. And then you can show them, hey, this is the vegan alternative.
Right.
Yeah. This is what you gave me for Christmas.
Yeah. If you ever want to give me this again, here's the version you want to give me.
Here's the version you want. Absolutely. And so again, that just increases understanding and knowledge, but again, not in a combative way. I don't think we've been, certainly not in a long, long time, have we been given food that contains animal products.
Not that I can recall.
No. I mean, maybe last year in a stocking stuffer, some candy.
Oh, some candy maybe, yeah.
Possibly that maybe had some confectioner's glaze or something.
Yeah.
And so whenever it comes to candy, we just give it to Lucy.
Right.
Because, Lucy will consume any candy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but I don't think we've had any, like, substantial gifts of food.
No.
Like a basket or something like that had animal products in it. So.
Yeah. So, like Sam said, just be thankful and appreciative of the gift and educate them on what they could have purchased.
That's right.
In place of it.
Right. Or if you really don't feel comfortable doing that, then do it behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Accept the gift.
Accept the gift.
Return
say,
it on your own.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And then go return it for something that is ethical, something that you can use and will use. So, yeah. So that one's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And lastly, just wanted to say to try to go into, because the holidays can be stressful for some people. Just try to go into these situations with a positive attitude. Don't immediately get your brain all geared up if you're on your way to a family gathering that, oh my God, I'm going to get the third degree about my veganism. Nobody's going to like the dish I brought. Just to go in with a positive attitude.
There's no need to get your hackles raised.
Yeah.
Over something that may not even happen.
Yeah. Don't assume that anybody's even going to mention the fact that you're vegan.
That's right. Because guess what? Family gatherings, they're about being with family, about being with people that we love. And you are not defined by your veganism.
Yep.
Just as with anything else, your family might love you because of your veganism in part, and they might love you in spite of your veganism in part. But either way, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about you as the whole human being.
Right.
Not you as, one aspect of your lifestyle or politics.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we touched on a couple of things that might help you navigate the non-vegan holiday season a little easier and give you some tools to use if you do get into a situation, an uncomfortable situation, a conversation, or a gift exchange or something like that.
Right. And of course, if you get into a truly combative situation with someone who is just not backing down, then, be the one to step away.
Just walk away.
Yeah, just step away and say, you know what, I'm sorry, but we need to agree to disagree.
Yep.
And go speak to somebody else.
Right.
Again, it's just, this is the time of year where, the entire world is supposed to be kind of focused on the ideas of peace and love and humanity and generosity. Yeah. And so there's no need to engage in combative activity.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's move on to housekeeping and kind of wrap this up because I know it's the holidays. You all don't have a whole lot of time to spare to listen to us yammer on.
All right, we'll keep that house, baby.
First thing in the housekeeping is we still need your help for next week's episode that we're calling Listener Holiday Favorites. You can email us or DM us your favorite holiday movies, songs, traditions, and foods because we want this episode to be all about you.
Yeah, we do.
And you can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram.
Yes. As always, we've got a fundraiser going on our Buy Me a Coffee site. And this season, we have a fundraiser for the Buffalo chapter of Food Not Bombs. They supply vegan food to those in need in the Buffalo area, which is an absolutely wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to donate to that campaign, you can hit us up at buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoodies for the Homeless is an organization collecting gently used hoodies, sweatshirts, and warm clothing for people in need in the Buffalo area. And items can be dropped off at Wellness in the Village. They're at 13219 Broadway in Alden, New York. So if you have any gently used warm clothing, you can donate it there.
Cool. If you're interested in supporting the podcast, you can do that by joining our Patreon. Christine has put up an awesome variety of levels of support and bonus episodes and merch and all kinds of things that you can get along with your sponsorship.
Be all kinds of fun stuff.
All kinds of fun stuff. And that link is in the show notes.
Yes. Leave us a review on your podcast app if your podcast app allows it. And what do I like to get?
She likes the 5 stars.
I like the 5 stars.
Yeah.
And if you leave us a review, just know that we will read your review on the show and shout you out.
We sure will.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if the review is good or bad. We'll still read it.
And once we get a few more reviews, I would like to do like a random number generator kind of thing and maybe send off merch to somebody who's left us a review.
Absolutely. We need, yes, that would be great.
What else do we have on here?
Well, as always, we'd love it if you would share our social media. Christine does an incredible job on our social media, and if you could share that, that'd be amazing. Share the show or our website with a friend or family member that you think would enjoy what we do. That is, of course, the best way to help out any content creator. Like and share, like and share, like and share.
Yes. Get this week's cookbook. You can get it in the link in the show notes. And the link is always also on our Instagram bio if you don't feel like going through the show notes.
There you go. Now, here's something new. Okay, so if you've just been, kind of buzzing through the housekeeping because we say almost the same thing every single week.
Pretty much, with maybe a little added
few
here
additions,
and there.
But here's a new one for you. So for those of you out there who might be interested in starting your own podcast, we have an offer from our host, Buzzsprout. So if you follow the link in the show notes, it lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you, and it will get you a $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan. It also helps support our show. Now, why would you want to host your podcast on Buzzsprout? Well, Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. So we're talking Apple Podcasts, we're talking Spotify, we're talking Google Podcasts.
Yeah, everywhere you get podcasts.
Everywhere you get podcasts,
you'll be listed.
You'll be there. You also get a great looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, and tools to promote your episodes. You'll also join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world.
Yeah, so if you're interested in starting your own podcast, there are hundreds of thousands of podcasters out there, but there is room for more.
Always.
Because everybody has a unique voice and maybe something that they can teach people. You can find a niche.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in that, definitely click the link in our show notes and you'll get a $20 credit if you start up an account with them.
Right. And also feel free to email us or DM us. We'd be happy to give you some tips and tricks to getting started.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always willing to help.
Absolutely.
Join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub and give to them if you can. We need all that information. We need to know how many voters are in what districts. So when she goes, her and her lobbyists go to talk to these politicians, that they can tell them you have this many vegans in your constituency.
Right.
And they will vote for you if you are helping move along their agenda.
Absolutely.
So...
And last but not least, we will be at the Vegan Center Holiday Pop-Up Market at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda this Saturday, December 17th. We'll have our usual podcast merch, t-shirts, buttons, stickers, magnets, and we will also have a rather ginormous inventory of... Ginormous. I have been knitting like a fiend for the past 6 weeks.
Yep.
And so we've got loads of hand-knitted scarves, wraps, cowls, infinity scarves, dishcloths, all kinds of stuff. And we will also, as always, have plenty of free vegan information from Vegan Outreach.
Yeah, so if you're looking for last minute gifts, definitely hit up the holiday market at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda.
Absolutely.
Because there's going to be all kinds of really great vendors. Marcy, who runs the center, said there's more vendors at this market than she's ever seen.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. And there's going to be some really good food there too.
Going to be some good food.
So check that out if you're in the area.
And every item that is sold at the Vegan Center is guaranteed to be vegan.
Yep,
so
100%.
Don't have to question whether or not what you're purchasing is ethical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Is that the end?
I think it's the end. Knowing you, you'll make sure it isn't the end.
No, it's the end.
Okay.
This is the end. Beautiful friend. So thank you for listening to episode 65 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. We will see you again next week. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. You're right. It's not the end.
See?
At the vegan market.
I knew this was coming.
I know. I always have an afterthought. After the vegan market. At the vegan market, we will also have little sign out sheets so you can tell us your favorites for next week's episode. So if you're going to be there in person, you can give us that information in person. We're going to be collecting all that evidence.
That's right. We'll save you a step.
Week's.
You don't even have to email us.
Yeah.
We'll save you a step.
Yeah. We'll have forms that people can fill out to give us their holiday favorites. Okay. That was the last thing.
Are you sure?
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And we'll talk to you next week.
We sure will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.